Welcome all. So we are just moving into the integrations, and in this I am going to tell about service package. So when to use service package? Basically, whenever we want to run a rule, we require operator and all. But whenever you are talking about processing any services, definitely we need to have this service package. So what is service package here? A service package we will be defining for accessing the listeners or any deployment of services. Whenever you want to create a service file, or you want to go for any SOAP, service REST or service SOAP, okay, so any services, so at that time we need to have the service package which will invoke the services from here. Okay, and what is the service package, in which class it contains? It is coming under data-admin-service package class, so that is it belongs to the data instance. Okay, so whenever I say it is a data instance, then it will not be belonging to any rule set. We have to associate this particular rule to the respective rule set, so that whenever we migrate, this also will be moving with that rule set which you have associated. Okay, so at the time of creating your service rule, it will never ask you what is the rule set. It just asks you to give the description because this is a data instance. Okay, so how to create the service package means it is belonging to the integration resources. If you see over here, it belongs to the integration resources, and you can see service package over here. Click on this service package and you can see whenever I create it, you can see that there is no rule set coming up over here. Okay, this is because it belongs to the data instance. And now coming to like creation. So for example, I create it, then what would be the rule set it will take? Okay, just I'll create a sample service package. Yeah, when I create and open it, you can see automatically it was showing hospital app. Okay, so what does it mean? Means whenever you create your service package rule, in which application you are going to create, that current application's rule set it will take by default. Afterwards, or if you do not want to include in this app this particular rule set, you can just click on edit and you can change it. So what does the service package contains? What are the tabs available in this service package? So service package contains context, pooling, open API tab. Okay, so we'll just talk about context. So what is context here? So in the context you find, so for example, if you see over here in this diagram, so let me go back to this. So in the context, if you see in the context, you can see the processing mode, the service access group, authentication type, and whether it requires the SSL, TS/SSL for REST services in this package, or you want to suppress HTML, and also you have methods. Before creating any service rules, first you have to create this service package. Okay, once you create your service rule, at that time you have to mention to which service package it belongs to. Once your service rules are created, so whatever the package you selected, so those things will be coming under methods. This methods and other section will be differing based upon the rule you select. Okay, so there might be, based on the rule you select, in the sense based upon the service rules you select. It can be, for example, if it is service REST, then different type of method, different way it will be showing to us. And if it is only service file, then it will be showing in a different way. If it is service SOAP, then it will be showing in different way. So we will be discussing about each and everything in the method. So let's first come to this context. So in the context, what do you have? So in the context, talking about processing mode, in the processing mode you have stateless and as well as stateful. Okay, so this when to go for stateless and when to go for stateful, right? So basically when we are working with the service packages, we need to know about the pooling, right? The requesters. Okay, so if you want, for example, the first requester is using the same service package and it has got executed, or it has been run, and it has some value, and the second time again another rule is also working on the same package, and if you if some data which you have run already in the first request star, if you want to use that, if you want to use it that in the second time, then definitely you have to go for stateful. Okay, that means in a stateless the data is not being captured. Okay, so this won't be available in your in the clipboard. Okay, so that means into the request star. So whenever you want to run in all the request stars, okay, so without checking the previous request star, then definitely you go for stateless. Otherwise you can go for stateful. So whenever you go to stateful, what Pega does is it checks whether any previous request star has run and it has some data or it has some values, and if the values are there, it can use those values if the second requester also using, if it want those values to be reused. Okay, so that is stateful. So in the stateful, data would be available, but in stateless you have to run frequently. So it depends upon you, depends upon the requirement, where if you want to increase the performance, then you can go for switch to stateful. Okay, that is about processing mode, in that which you have stateful and stateless, right? And coming to the service access group field, so you have to enter the service access group over here. This is mandatory field. Without entering, you cannot save your service package. So what does it mean, service access group means? So whenever you are using, if you want to use this application, it checks whether this particular service package belongs to your do you have any access to that or not. If your operator does not belongs to this access group, definitely your rule resolution will not pick this service package, so this particular service package. So for that you have to go for service access group. Okay, and the next is about require authentication. If you need a require authentication, there are some different types of authentications like basic, OAuth 2.0 and custom. So whenever you are going for the authentication, definitely you have to require the TLS or SSL for SSL option. Okay, so if it is a REST service, definitely you require this. Okay, so for now I'm not going for require authentication, so you can just ignore that. And coming to the suppress show HTML, so what do you mean by suppress show HTML? Means if your activity is using any show HTML methods, it would be skipped whenever you're working with the service package, so that it can be easy for your users to work on. Okay, so that is suppress show HTML. Okay, so you can it will be ignored whenever the activity has this type of method in it. Okay, so now you can give any of the access group and you can just save it. So now you saved, but you haven't used this service package anywhere. So whenever you create a service rule, then definitely any of the service rule, definitely then those things will be available under methods. You have the other option also called as deployment. So deployments will be available only when it is service SOAP or service JMS or service .NET. So only for those things it will be shown your deployment. So let's see those type of methods also over here. Okay, so this method tab, whatever the options which we should see here, it will be differs based upon the service rule you are creating. So for example, I'll select this product pack. So whenever you select this product pack, it is service type which is of service rule service file. So for this only you have these things. Okay, so the class name, the method name and rule set. But coming to the create employee, which is of rule service rest here. Okay, so whenever it is rule service, then the method is changed here. You have something called as invocation, view invocation, test endpoint. So you have these things when you use service rest over here. And coming to the SOAP or JMS, whatever you use, the method would be only the same thing, but you have an extra section called as deployment and as well as the deployment results. So it would be changed based upon the rule which you select in the service package. So it will be deferred based upon the rules which you call. Okay, so that is what we are discussing over here. So this, if you see here, this is a service rule service rest. So in the rule service rest you have these all things. So I'll just show you this. So rule service rest, right? Yeah, rule service rest. So you have these things like rule service rest, and you got something called as service monitoring. So what is the service monitor? If you want to monitor the service, if you want to use the clipboard data, then you have to go for this as a define on service. If you click on the settings icon, you can see the service, select service monitoring is there. So if you want to switch on, then definitely you have to mention whether you want to capture the clipboard state or not, and that too this is dependent upon the DSS, dynamic system settings value, which is already by default it would be deferred. Okay, so based on that you can use this service monitoring. If you want to monitor, yes, you can do this, and this monitoring will be used available only for this REST services, right? And there is something called as clear invocation service. Yeah, there is what service monitoring, clear invocation history, it is there. So what is this clear invocation history means? Whatever, how many times the invocation has happened, those all things it would be cleared. So before clear invocation history, we need to check about view invocation history. So in the view invocation history, every rule, how many times it is been used, how it is been called, so those all history it would be shown. So till now I haven't invoked this particular thing, so you can see there it will create one ID, IP address, status, how much time it took, what's the method. So these all things it will be shown over in the view invocation history. Okay, and also you can see clear invocation history, which is you can clear it, right? This is clear invocation history. And you got something called as test endpoint. This is what we are discussing over here, right? Test endpoint. So you can click this where you can enter values of variable components of your URL template. This is about context tab for the method whenever you are using service rule service REST. Then how it looks for the service file. Okay, so this is a service file. Can you see rule service file? And you can see the class name. So whatever the this is at the time of package sorry, at the time of service file creation, it will be asking you the class name, method name, and the rule set. So those things it will be showing. If you click on this, it will open the service file rule. So let me click on this. If you see here, it is opening the service file rule. Okay, so this is about what? This is about a service package which is created under rule-service-file. And you have something else also, that is what rule service SOAP now. So till now we took service file and service REST. Now we'll go with the SOAP. So this is a SOAP. So whenever you see the SOAP, here also you can see method name. If you click on this method name, it will open service file rule only. But you have something else called as deployment over here, deployment and deployment result. So whatever the service file, whatever the service file you created, it will open, or it will give you one URL, right? This URL you can use as a connect SOAP in the another application if it is Pega. So you can give this particular URL, the WSDL file, this WSDL file to or URL to the another application which is of Pega, where they can use it. So it will provide you all the data which is there in this. Okay, you can see it's there, age and all these things, WSDL file, it will be showing into this, right? This is about deployment result. And coming to the deployment, as I selected service SOAP, it is showing WSDL. If yeah, it is WSDL. If it is Java, then it would be something else, remote Java class. Okay, if it is based upon, if it is .NET also, it will be a WSDL file also, or it can be sometimes WSDL for WebLogic. So it depends upon the service type which you select over here. And coming to the service class, yes, whatever the service rule you created, right? So for this you could have created one service rule, create network. Can you see what name you have given? The this name you have given, services, right? So at the time of creation, whatever you given services, whatever the class name you have given, that will be shown under service class. This class name will be shown under service class. If you want to so this is another one, specify custom target namespace. If you want to specify the target namespace, you can select this and you can write the URI over here. Okay, so this is how the context tab is being created under service package. Okay, and then there is something called as pooling over here. Coming to the pooling is same in each and every service package rule. So you got some maximum idle requesters, maximum active requesters. So we are selecting, you can go for maximum idle requesters. If you want as many as requesters, you can just give -1. So -1 tells you that you can have any number of idle requesters. Even active requesters also you can go for that. Okay, so that one. And coming to the maximum wait, how many means if it is in the requester, how much time it should wait to other requester to get in. So for that you are going for maximum wait here. Okay, so if there are two like if there are some two requesters over here, one will be talking about active and one will be coming into the idle. So whenever you request something, so it will go to the active requesters and it will execute it. Once the execution is done, it will be moving to the idle requester. So at a time 7 requesters or at a time 8 requesters are there, yes, you can go with that because you have some ample idle requesters and active requesters over here. If it is very new, then only it will create a new requester. If not, it won't be creating a new requester at all. Okay, so that is about maximum idle requester and maximum active requesters. And you have use OpenAPI tab, which is used to view the auto generated OpenAPI specification document that describes REST services that are included in your service package. So it displays in YAML and Swagger. So you can see the OpenAPI when it is of context service rule service REST, which is there, which is created as user, which is already there in YAML. Okay, so that's about service package.